This is the Radical SR3 Sl from 2013, a vehicle that I know you probably haven't even driven. Now, the reason for that is because there is no reason to get behind the wheel of it until now, because with update 1.59, well, this car can now receive an engine swap, and it's one that actually makes this car quite usable and will make you a lot of money. So before we get into it, let me talk about the Radical quickly. So this vehicle, in my opinion, is one of the best vehicles to use when you want to learn a new circuit. Now I know we haven't received a new circuit in quite some time to Gran Turismo 7, so look, if you're looking to improve lap times, jump into this. This is the perfect vehicle to use when you're trying to learn the lines of a circuit and just overall improve yourself, improve your driving ability, because with this vehicle, it has a decent amount of power, it's extremely lightweight, a decent amount of downforce, which means you are able to set very consistent lap times without fail. The minute you get into a vehicle, it's super easy to drive, super easy to understand, and that's why it is one of the best vehicles to use when you're just trying to improve your lap times around a specific circuit. So now this vehicle that I'm driving is not standard, because we see the standard Radical has 239 brake horsepower and this one has 452 brake horsepower. Now we see it still weighs 775 kg, so it is extremely lightweight, and well, the performance, it's okay. It's still not the fastest thing around, even though we have now spent a bit of money to just upgrade it and get it to see and become the ultimate Radical. We see around Kyoto Driving Park, this vehicle will be setting lap times around the 1 minute 34 second mark, which, look, in my eyes is still a competitive vehicle. Now, when it comes to the actual drivability of it, would it be in a purpose-built race car? Well, the car, it's gonna have great cornering ability, it's super easy to turn, braking is really good, and with the upgraded power down a straight line, doesn't feel painful. You actually have a bit of oomph to actually get you around the circuit. Now with the engine swap that we have available for it, well, we are taking the engine from the Suzuki Vision GT Group 3 vehicle and we are putting it into this Radical. Now this engine swap is going to cost you a bit of money, coming in at 325,000 credits, which, look, for an engine swap isn't really that bad in my opinion. And we see immediately once we engine swap it, we now bump the power up to 577 brake horsepower, and this is without any upgrades to this engine, because still we can then take it on over to a tuning shop and still slap on a high RPM turbocharger. And once we do so, well, now we see the vehicle will produce 789 brake horsepower, which is a lot more than what the standard engine was capable of. Plus, with it being a motorbike engine that is put into this vehicle, well, this vehicle can rev to the moon and back. But that is also a bit of an issue, because when it comes to fuel consumption, this is one of the worst GT3 engines to use, because with the revving so high, it is absolutely guzzling the fuel at high RPMs. But when it comes to actual driving ability of it, oh boy, is it fun, because you see around Kyoto Driving Park, just the way it puts its power down, it delivers its power, the car just wants to keep going and going and going. And even when you get on the power, it's almost instantaneous. Yes, even though it has a high RPM turbocharger which has a bit of lag to it, the car still just pulls, it accelerates extremely hard, and we find ourselves doing 300 kilometers per hour before we need to go around the first corner. That's the thing, you slam on the brakes, the car slows down. You want to turn, the car still has more than enough downforce to keep the vehicle planted. However, the tune that you have in a vehicle is essential to just make sure and guarantee that you don't have understeer, you don't have oversteer, because as long as you have those two elements in control, best believe you are still going to have an absolutely fantastic vehicle, and one that you are not going to regret owning. Now, when it comes to lap times with this vehicle fully upgraded, I actually found myself sitting a lap time of a 1 minute 30 around Kyoto Driving Park. We shaved off, what, 4 seconds from just adding this engine swap, making it a lot faster. Now the thing is, with it being a Group 3 engine, that means you can use it for money grinding. Now with the vehicle being on racing soft tires, the downforce of the vehicle we cannot play with, we cannot adjust it, so that's locked out. And well, max power, we are under 800 performance points, which means you can take it around an event like the WTC 800 around Sardinia. Now this is one of the best events to use for money grinding in Gran Turismo 7, and when I tell you, the Radical actually impressed me. I put the vehicle on fuel map level 6 to just see how far I can actually go with it, and I left the vehicle in automatic transmission. That was my first mistake. If you're gonna use it for money grinding, I highly suggest a manual transmission, because with the vehicle revving so far and so high up, you're actually running almost out of the power band. So yeah, you need to shift up early in order to just save some fuel, because I saw, even though with me running it on fuel map level 6, I had to put twice during this event, once at the end of the 6th lap and once at the end of the 12th lap. And tires, oh my word, this vehicle absolutely eats up the tires. The rear tires, you find them running bold very quickly, and you might actually find yourself backwards. I actually found myself backwards quite a few times in this event, and I'll be honest with you, this was the worst run of this event I've ever experienced, due to the fact of, I thought, you know what, I can run it with the tires being like completely worn out, and I had no grip whatsoever, due to the fact of it just kept eating the tires. The minute it went past the halfway mark, it's like you are ice skating with this vehicle. Even though when you do it in another Group 3 vehicle or anything else, I've run with a lot worse of tires and still had a lot more grip compared to Radical. Now, that's why in my opinion, if you are gonna run this event, jump onto a set of racing hard tires. Racing hard tires, that way you can guarantee traction throughout the events. You're not really gonna struggle, because once you go into a pit, as I said, well, then just change it over. It still has more than enough grip, and you aren't gonna be wasting time sliding all over the place and fighting with the vehicle for traction. Now, even with me spinning out, sliding all over the place, just not having a good time, I actually found myself completing the entire event in a total time of 27 minutes and 41 seconds, which is absolutely pitiful. It is so bad due to the fact of me. I'm the one to blame, not the vehicle. This is my own issue, my fault for not just paying more close attention to the tires and just running a better race strategy. So what I'm planning to do is actually do that in another video, again the ultimate setup, and seeing how much money I can actually make with this Radical. But for now, even with me spinning out multiple times, having a bad strategy, it was still more than capable of getting a race win around this event. So yeah, if you're looking for a money grinding vehicle, even if you are having a bad race, you are still guaranteed money with this Radical. So look, I can't complain. I did this event a single time and I made profit on this vehicle and the engine swap. I just made profit. So yeah, when it comes to this engine swap, it's not the best engine to use, but it's not a bad engine at all. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions of this engine swap, of this combination, in the comment section down below. And with this being said, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.